What's the biggest misunderstanding about you?
Whenever you hear about somebody who's got, ridiculous amounts of money, their values are different than your values. You should be concerned about their agenda.
What's your biggest fear?
I'll be sad as my brain gets less capable. That disappoints me.
Tell me one behavior we all should adopt.
Reading a lot, being a student, that's a big part of my success.
Richest and most powerful men in the world.
Bill Gates has unleashed a technological revolution that has changed our lives.
Bill Gates of 25 and Bill Gates of 70. Any change that you feel personally?
In my 20s, being a maniac was the right thing. My competitors would say, oh no, you work too hard. And I'd say, yes, I do. If you're in a race, your 20s, when you have no wife and no children, that's the time to do it.
If you get an opportunity to invite 3 Indians for dinner, who would that be?
There was a mathematician, Ramanujan. I would have loved to have met him.
Why do you think India is becoming a global talent capital for the world?
Would hire people from India and bring them to the United States. Both the United States and India were kind of mad at us because we were taking, the smart people and moving them.
In India, a lot of kids also fight with their parents on inheritance. Have your kids ever spoken to you? Before we start today's episode, all I want to say is thank you to each and every one of you. I'm really grateful that we were able to sit down with one of the most influential men in the world, the Bill Gates. I have been this young boy who always used to hear stories about this man, about the kind of money he has made, the kind of lives he's impacting, the kind of things he's building through Microsoft. From there, to be sitting in front of him, it was surreal. When I started the conversation, you could see it on my face that I was really nervous, really scared. I didn't know what to talk about. But as we went in the conversation, the podcaster in me took over and we spoke about his fears, his misunderstandings, the mission, and what is he doing today. Today, I want you to see this episode from a lens of a 20-year-old sitting with Bill Gates and figuring out what goes on in his brain. This episode is truly special because I could have never thought that Bill Gates will be on our podcast this soon in our journey. I always had a belief that we will be able to sit down with the smartest people around the world, but it'll happen this soon. I can't believe this right now. I just want you to enjoy this episode the way I did. I want you to sink in that this is happening because it's not sinking in with me. And I just want to tell you that there are more episodes coming. So keep supporting us and hit the subscribe button right now. Welcome on Figuring Out, sir. I'll tell you a little story. So during the pandemic, me and my sister, we were watching the Netflix documentary, Inside Bill's Brain. And halfway through it, I told my sister that, hey, you know what? Like one day I'll sit with Bill Gates and I'll directly speak to him and get inside his brain. And just randomly, and she was laughing. So this one's for you.
You did it.
Yeah, so it's an opportunity. I don't know how it just came out of my mouth and it's happening today. So thank you so much for doing this. Well, you've come to India quite often. Tell me something that you've observed about India, which a lot of people don't know about.
Well, people probably, because they're here all the time, they probably don't recognize how much things have changed. If you go away and come back, then you see, wow, the level of entrepreneurship and the amount of innovation that's actually taking place here. It's pretty fantastic. And, for the foundation, we've been here originally because a lot of the health challenges were here, and we still care a lot about that. But now a lot of our invention is being done here, whether it's, vaccines, obviously, we have some incredible partnerships, but it's broadening to, better seeds, better diagnostics, the ways that we can use AI for health or education. So the innovation ecosystem has really exploded, and that's going to be great for India. It's going to be great for the world.
So when you meet other leaders around the world, or when you meet your billionaire friends, what's the first thing you tell them about India? Is it the same thing, what you just told me?
Yeah, it's, we've had such a great experience in our work in India. I encourage people to come and tap into the great things going on.
Is there anything specific you tell them?
Well, my connection with India goes all the way back to the Microsoft days when, we at first would hire people from India and bring them to the United States. And, both the United States and India were kind of mad at us because we were taking, the smart people and moving them. And, then they came back here to India and created the Microsoft India work, which has, been absolutely fantastic. So, up until the year 2000, I mainly knew the tech scene. So, a lot of Bangalore, Hyderabad, seeing the country more broadly, that's in my foundation work. So, Bihar, UP, seeing, where we could partner and help with things. I still want to take more vacation here. I've done it a little bit, but, there's a lot of great places in India that I haven't been to.
Talking about Microsoft and taking people from here to US, people like Satya Nadella, Sundar Pichai, there have been incredible CEOs around the world. Why do you think India is becoming a global talent capital for the world? Do you think anything special here which is out there?
Well, 20% of the world's people live here in India. And India's had a particular emphasis on, engineering, software, and turned out a lot of top people. And so when you get people like Sundar, Satya, who are both great at engineering and at management, that's a magic combination. And, so they, these companies, are looking anywhere in the world to find that mix. And, so India's getting about its fair share of those top leadership positions. And, it partly comes from having great universities, not just the IITs, but starting with them, that's using the incredible talent that's here.
So talking about Indian talent, you do a lot of philanthropy work here, and you've met a lot of talented people here, a lot of rich people here as well. You believe that all the money that rich people have, or like people who have made wealth for themselves, they should use it for charity work, they should pledge it. In India, usually a lot of people believe that as parents, it's their duty to save everything for their kids, for the inheritance, right? Like the kids will get everything. What do you think is the right mindset? Using all the money for pledging and giving it back to the society, or giving it to the children?
Well, I think, everybody gets to decide on that. In my case, my kids got a great upbringing and education, but, less than 1% of the total wealth, because I decided it wouldn't be a favor to them. It's not a dynasty. I'm not asking them to run Microsoft. I want to give them a chance to have their own earnings and success, be significant and not overshadowed by the incredible luck and good fortune I had. And different families see that differently. I think the people who've made fortunes from technology are less dynastic, and so they'll even take their capital and give a lot of that away. You can have a view of giving away your capital or just giving away your earnings. And of course, I love all philanthropy, but the tech sector is probably the most aggressive about giving most of it away.
In the other sectors, you have not seen that in any other kind of industry where people try to give
not to the same degree. It tends to be giving more, giving some portion of the profit as opposed to the actual base capital.
In India, a lot of kids also fight with their parents on inheritance. Have your kids ever spoken to you and be like, hey, why are you not giving us everything or anything? Has it ever happened?
You don't want your kids to ever be confused about your support for them and your love for them. And so I do think explaining early on your philosophy, that you're going to treat them all equally and that you're going to give them incredible opportunities, but that, the highest calling for these resources is to go back